All right, let's put Kafka's coding chops to the test. So here at Brainbase, we didn't set out to build a purely programming agent, but a convenient side effect of building Kafka in the way that we did is that it's actually quite good at writing, testing, and deploying code to production. So I'm going to take this demo as an opportunity to build something for one of my personal projects. A big pain point I have in life is setting up monitoring for my personal projects. At Brainbase, we have extensive monitoring and CI/CD, but for my personal project here, I have nothing. Specifically regarding my vendors and monitoring that they're still up. What I could do is use their status page, but this usually lags around 5 to 10 minutes behind production, or will never actually show the issue that was happening. And it also doesn't reflect my own poor decisions, such as maybe an API key gets leaked, or I forget to pay my OpenAI bill. So what I'm going to ask Kafka to do is set up a monitoring system on AWS Lambda that just polls OpenAI and 11 Labs every 5 minutes with my keys, and will send me an email if anything goes wrong. So here I've attached a text file with some of my keys. I've also created an IAM role in AWS to allow Kafka to deploy this into production. So let's see what it did. All right, let's see how Kafka decided to tackle this problem. So first, Kafka's looking in the workspace-uploads directory. We can view Kafka's entire file system over here in workspace, and in the uploads folder, that's where we're going to store any files that you upload into the system. So we can take a look here. Great. So Kafka's going to go ahead and read that file, and then now that it's verified it has the keys, it's going to go ahead and make a plan. So here we can see Kafka creating the plan. It's something we built into Kafka to allow not only for more visibility for the user, I could interrupt at any point when I think it might be straying off, but also it allows it to kind of follow the plot on much longer, more complex tasks, where traditional LLMs and traditional agents would just get lost and forget the original prompt. So let's verify this plan. So first, it's going to parse the API keys. It's going to create a Lambda function code. It's going to set up the AWS credentials and create a deployment. Then it's going to set up CloudWatch to create 5-minute triggers, and then it's going to test this Lambda function. So looks good to me. Now, something to notice here as well is while it looks like we might be using a thinking model, we actually built Kafka to not rely on thinking LLMs. The reason we did this is because we were able to build it in such a way that we didn't see any quality drop, but we were able to significantly drop the price and the speed compared to using thinking models. So we can see here it's making some thoughts, thinking about how to tackle this problem, and it's going to start running some code. So let's take a look here. So first, interestingly, it actually decides to open up this file with all of my keys, read through it, and extract them programmatically, which I like as a consumer, because sometimes when you rely on an LLM to just repeat back long strings and long API keys, it can actually do quite poorly. So here it's making sure that it doesn't actually miss anything, which is great. All right. So the next Kafka is going to go ahead and start writing some code. So it's going to go ahead and write the Lambda function here. And okay, got an error. It's going to go ahead and fix that indentation error. Great. And it was created and saved to our workspace again, so that we have access to this function. Let's go ahead and take a look. Here we go. Okay, we can view the code right there. All right. So the next, what did it do? Okay, so now it's going to create the requirements that it needs. Here it needs Boto3 and requests, which are relatively common libraries. It's going to go ahead and write them into the requirements.txt file for when we deploy it. And it's going to save these API keys to the environment. Great. All right, so now it's decided to go ahead and zip up this Lambda, which makes sense when we're deploying via CLI. And so, yep, goes ahead and does that. Great. And all through this whole time, it's making thoughts, it's running code, but you have full visibility over here into what it's doing. All right, so now it's actually taking the time to create some instructions for me in case I want to maybe dive deeper and I want to see what it actually did. So that's very nice. Let's see where it saved it. Okay, it set it up in setup instructions, so we can go ahead and view that. Awesome. All right. Cool. And now it's moving on. So now it's decided, okay, I need to update my plan. I've actually completed a lot of these tasks. I've created the main Lambda handler. And now it's time to set up AWS credentials and deploy this thing. So here we can see it making some thoughts, and it's going to now use the shell. So in the shell, we can view over here is where it's able to execute shell commands. So here it's going to run a whole bunch of different commands to basically set up the AWS CLI, and then to also deploy and upload this zip file to AWS Lambda. All right, great. And it looks like it was successful. It set a timeout of 30 seconds, which makes sense. Set some higher memory to 128 megabytes. Shows a runtime of Python 3.9. All looks good to me. All right, great. And now let's run some tests. Okay, so now it's updated its plan a little bit further. And it's actually added something here. Or actually, no, it hasn't. That's there, but it does have the ability to add things to its plan. Cool. All right, so now it's going to go ahead and try to set up the EventBridge and also test Kafka, or test the Lambda. Great, everything looks good. All right, so now it comes back and says, okay, we've done well. What's worked is we've deployed the Lambda function. We've been able to test it. I did receive an email where it ran a test email, but it looks like it ran into a bit of a problem. So it said here, hey, I don't have permissions to do anything on EventBridge, which makes sense. I'm usually quite picky on the permissions that I do give in my IAM roles. So what I've done now is I've actually just given it, I've updated its access to allow it to use EventBridge. So let's see what it's able to do. Great. So it says, okay, you give me availability. I'm just going to run these terminal commands, which we can see down here. Great. And success. It was able to deploy EventBridge. Great. All right, so now my system is live. It's giving me some details on how much it's going to cost me, how many times it's going to run a day. So let's give it a test. So let's go over here to OpenAI and let's revoke its key. Let's delete it. Revoke key. All right, and now let's wait for that email. All right, so I just received an email saying, let's see, OpenAI down, error, OpenAI API returned 401 status, your API key has been revoked. All right, cool. So it all works. Now I will get an email for the next 5 minutes until I update the keys. But yeah, I'm very happy, and now I can make sure that none of my side projects go down without me knowing. So yeah, thank you.